What's up, RHF? This is skeetsak. A couple of people asked for a video about my fire extinguisher hookah, so here it is. This is the top piece. This is where a lot of the fabrication really took place. What I got is a half-inch hose barb, I think, screwed into a hose barb adapter right there. I got my grommets on it, soldered onto a half-inch piece of copper, and then on the bottom I have my diffuser tip that I made. It's got about 8 holes in the bottom of it. I don't know what diameter they are, but they go all the way around. It makes for the most perfect smooth draw I've ever had on any hookah. I mean, right now I have a diffuser tip on my old ass Egyptian hookah going on right now. I'm heating up a bowl so I could show you how it smokes, and it works just as good. It's fantastic. I actually am thinking about just drilling holes in all the bottoms of my hookahs and never worrying about it ever again. I got a 3/4 inch piece of copper pipe soldered into a couple elbows. As you can see right there, they go right under here and down and in. There's my port, whatever. No restriction whatsoever. It is the smoothest draw ever. Right now I got my custom made hose right here that I posted pictures of. Call it my Sultan hose because I think it looks like something the king would have, with the big bobby thing on the bottom of it. The tip of the rainbow hose is probably the most restrictive piece on the entire hookah. And I mean, the rainbow hose is a pretty open hose in the first place. Purge valve was a bitch. I have over an hour of fabrication in just this piece alone. What it is a 1/8 inch nipple is what they call it. It has threads on one end, a section of pipe in the middle, and then threads on the other end. I don't really know what you use it for, but I cut it in about half. I drilled 4 holes. You can see 2 there. There's 2 on the other side. And then I got this cap thing. What I did was I drilled a hole through the top cap piece. You can see it there. And then I soldered this straight onto the top. So it was really hard. And then I dropped soldering down into the tube. I took a Phillips head screwdriver and I kind of ground a bed for it to sit in, similar to what you would find on any other hookah. There's a little conic dip with a hole in the bottom of it. So that's what I recreated. And then I took a ball out of my Egyptian, my KM, and just dropped it in there, and it works pretty much perfectly. This is the fire extinguisher itself. You can see I got my Teflon tape there on the threads because I'm about to seal it up. You can't read it in this video. You can't really read it in real life either. There's a ton of writing on there. There's some legal shit on it. It's from Dayton. Dayton Fire Extinguisher. It's acid and soda. And it says for fire turnover to bottom. It's really heavy. It weighs about like 30 pounds, I'd say. It's copper tube rolled. The top right here, the top fixture is brass. The hose coming out the side. I just put some super glue in the bottom of it. You can see a little white tip. That's just super glue. I rolled copper sheet into creating this tube here in the center. Put copper sheet on the top there, created that little disc to make a lip for it to sit in. You saw this ridge right here, this tiny little ridge. It sits on there about perfectly. I gotta thank my buddy Tony for that. Tony literally spent about an hour and a half creating just this little donut piece. There again is some copper sheet. It's soldered on, ground it flat so that it fit all the way down inside there. There you go. It fits perfectly. That's the chamber of my hookah. Hey guys, I got a bowl warmed up. It's all on top. I got an alien with some chronic hookah coals on top of it. It's a mix of Nakla, mango, and Tangiers lemon lime. Not really digging it that much. But as you can see, the way I got it set up, when the top is totally screwed on, I actually have the hose port stick just like 90 degrees to the front of it, which is pretty sweet. I planned that out. I tried to make it look a little bit professional and not really like a DIY garage project. But I got the hose port is 3/4 inch. So what it takes is a bowl grommet with a hose grommet inside of it. So that way it'll fit any hose really. It's a pretty big port, But that's the only way I would do it. I tried a half inch. A half inch was just way too small. The only thing I could get in it was a new hose, and I wanted to be able to use this hose, which got the rainbow ports that are really stubby and fat. You can see I got it stood up next here, next to my Egyptian, just old hookah that I picked up off eBay. I think I beat Scoozle for it. I beat him by like $1 or something like that. So sorry, bud. But here's some smoke. I'm really happy with it. The half-inch down stem is about what an Egyptian, like a Kaluma Moon, would be. The 3/4 inch hose port was just a little bit too big, but with a bowl grommet and a hose grommet on it, it works perfectly. And like I said before, the only restriction on it, I believe, is the rainbow hose. That's probably the smallest hole in it. I got the KM tray with the brass trim around the outside is what I'm using right now. It just sits right on top of the handle of whatever it is. I've been on eBay. I'm looking for like a cog or a sprocket to actually solder to the bottom of it or bottom of another tray so that way it'll fit perfectly, because this kind of wobbles a little bit back and forth. I'm not really too worried about it. It's just going to be something else aesthetic that I do on the side. The purge valve works pretty damn good for just a piece of 1/8 pipe soldered straight on to another solid piece of brass. It took me a bunch of tries. It was really hard to get right, but it works really good. The way I got it is the holes either go out the front or they go back into the down stem, so the smoke just kind of rises from it. And we're clear about 1 second. It actually works better than my KM. My KM takes about like 5 seconds to clear in like a full breath. But if anybody wants any help making one of these, anybody wants any tips or anything, any questions that they have, somebody wants to replicate this or try to do it better, by all means. If I was going to do something better, I would move the hose port to the other side so that way it's not actually blocking the hose that actually comes on it, so that way it would kind of resemble a 2-hose hookah, but not really, because this hose isn't in use. But I'd move that on the other side. The purge valve isn't centered. I would probably center it somehow. I just kind of drilled a hole and was like, oops, there it is. But I'd probably move that too. But the interior, being a removable interior, I can clean it and I can soak it in whatever I want to clean it, and it doesn't really affect the smoke quality at all. I know when I take it out, there is smoke in this actual chamber since it's not sealed on there. It just sits on that lip, but I haven't really noticed any effect of taste or anything like that. But that's all. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope anybody that has any questions, you can find me on RHF. My name is Skeetsak. Feel free to PM me, anything like that. It's in the DIY section of Homemade. It's also in the discussion forum. But thanks a lot, guys.